জি স্যাররা সবাইকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম
সালাম
আসসালাম
আলাইকুম
স্যার।
স্যার।
জি স্যার, ভালো আছেন সবাই? তো আমরা শুরু করি, এর ভিতরে যারা আসছে বাকিরা চলে আসবে ইনশাল্লাহ। আমরা লাস্ট ক্লাস পর্যন্ত আমরা ছিলাম, চ্যাপ্টার 3টা শেষ করে ফেলেছি আমরা। এন্ড মডিউল 4, দ্যাটস মিন চ্যাপ্টার 4 আমাদের রয়েছে নাও, ইনফরমেশন টেকনোলজি। এর আন্ডারে আমার রয়েছে দুইটা বিষয়, একটা হচ্ছে ইলেকট্রনিক কমার্স ফান্ডামেন্টাল, আর একটা হচ্ছে ই কমার্স অ্যাপ্লিকেশন অ্যান্ড ইস্যুস। এই দুইটা নিলে এটা শেষ। So if we see our today's issue, electronic commerce system, and within electronic commerce system here, electronic commerce fundamental and e-commerce application and issues. So today we'll discuss electronic commerce fundamental. So electronic commerce fundamental, it's mean that identify the basic process component of e-commerce system and discuss important trends, application and issue in e-commerce. And after study this chapter, we will be able to identify the major category and trend of e-commerce and able to identify the essential process, and we will be able to give some example, and also we will be able to understand the benefit, trade-off, several e-commerce, etc. So if we see e-commerce, we know what is e-commerce. E-commerce is the first growing area of business. And by the innovation in the technology and changing customer behavior, e-commerce pattern is changing. So e-commerce is changing the shape of competition, the speed of action, and the streamlining the interaction, product, payment, and customer to companies, and from companies to supplier. So if we see this one for the e-commerce here, helping in different mode. For example, here corporate digital library helping here information sharing, collaboration work. Also here electronic publishing helping marketing, advertising, sales, customer support, and electronic data processing, also electronic document interchange. It is electronic fund transfer and electronic data interchange will be happen, and also electronic message also here. So if we see in this regard, this one or this one. Share sound.
What is e-commerce? E-commerce is the activity of buying and selling products and services over the internet using sites such as Amazon, Wix, and Shopify. The advantages of e-commerce are that it saves time, it's easy to search for products, and products can be sold and delivered internationally right to your doorstep. E-commerce is also able to manage a large number of orders with ease. The disadvantages of e-commerce is that it lacks personal touch. There are multiple security issues like credit card frauds. Software requirements for the server side include web server software like a base web server, database management systems such as MySQL, and a programming language. Other system requirements are software development, operating systems like Windows, and web development tools. On the other hand, the hardware requirements for server side includes web server, a mainframe, network router, and a database server. What are the minimum requirements for the computers that the staff uses? for the client to use are web browser, operating system, PDF reader, and an antivirus. These are the minimum hardware requirements for the clients to use. System development lifecycle includes planning, system analysis, designing, development, integration and testing, implementing, and operating and maintenance.
We have compared two e-commerce websites which are Apple and Samsung. Similarities of these websites are that both websites allow us to customize the product from their selections, both websites provide free delivery and shipping, and they also allow us to select recommended accessories. The differences between these websites are that Apple has a choice to select carrier. Apple also offers a service which allows you to compare two or more products. Samsung, however, has a live chat and offers multiple online payment options. In our opinion, Samsung should offer a service which can compare their products. They should also inform customers of the things they get from their products and also give suggestions for accessories. On the other hand, Apple should provide a live chat for customers who ask questions and information about the product. They should also offer more payment methods. Some ethical issues e-commerce websites face are inaccurate product price, counterfeit products, online data theft and security, and web accessibility.
So here saying the e-commerce, though sound is not clear. Wait. This one is,
Today's global ecosystem of commerce relies on a vast network of devices, interactions, experiences, and databases to keep transactions running and business flowing. Whenever we make a purchase, online or in person, there's an element of digital technology at play. Working behind the scenes to make sure your customer experience is simple, personalized, convenient, and available across all your devices. At the heart of each of these systems are semiconductors, which enable each piece to work together. For example, vendors, manufacturers, and transporters may use an information management system that helps regulate availability and demand across the supply chain. Companies use semiconductors to store and process this data, which help to extract relevant information quickly, providing real-time insights and ultimately determining demand for the future. These days, we've come to expect personalization throughout our shopping experience, and semiconductors use artificial intelligence and machine learning to track and process buying history, behaviors, and preferences. From a laptop to a tablet, mobile phone, or in-store kiosk, the devices and platforms we use to make purchases are varied and must all be synced up to a connected network, which we call the Internet of Things, IoT. And semiconductors are used across these key devices to enable that connection. Whether in person or online, the technology that powers e-commerce behind the scenes plays an important role in every transaction, no matter how big or small.
Okay. So if we see the e-commerce, the scope of the e-commerce, the range of the business process involved in the marketing, buying, selling, and service of product and service in companies that engage in e-commerce. So if we see the scope, there is a lot of scope area that means is huge for e-commerce. Each and every single part is connecting, and companies involved in the e-commerce as either buying or selling, and rely on internet-based technologies and e-commerce publication and service to accomplish marketing, discovery, transaction processing, and product and customer service process. So if you see the e-commerce, that means its scope or its area. So here selling can be focused to the global customer. So from here, one local company can sell their product globally through the e-commerce. And pre-sale subcontract supply can be possible, and financing and insurance also can possible. Commercial transaction order, delivery, payment, and product service and maintenance, cooperative product development and distributed cooperative work, and use of public and private service, business to administration, that means B2A or business to government, B2Z, our customer, transport and logistic, public procurement, automatic trading and digital goods, accounting and dispute resolution also is the part of e-commerce. So e-commerce involved accomplish the range of business process to support the electronic buying and selling of goods and service. If we see the picture from a selling process, first one, from the selling process, this means marketing discover, then transaction processing, then service and support. So within marketing discover, marketing, here is market product research, market education, terms negotiation, and order received from the transaction processing, an order selected and giving the priority, an order billing. Any problem? No problem. Okay. Then service and support. Hey, our sound ঠিক আছে তো শোনা যায় স্যারেরা?
জি স্যার ক্লিয়ার
Oh, okay. Thank you. And service and support here, order or scheduling and fulfillment of delivery, and customer service and support. So this is the selling process. And if we see the lower one is the buying process, and same way here, buying process, product discovery first, then product evaluation, then terms and negotiation, then order placement, order tracking, order that is payment, then a product received, and product service and support. So this is the e-commerce involvement accomplishment, a range of business process to support the electronic buying and selling of goods and service this way. And e-commerce technology, what we are using it, that means e-commerce technologies, which technologies are necessary for e-commerce. So one scenario we have seen, we watch the video there. We need the software, hardware, and others technology. And the short answer is most important technology is internet technologies. Basically, it is the fundamental thing is internet technology. Without internet, that means e-commerce cannot be happen. So involve e-commerce system, the technologies resource required by the e-commerce system. So here, if we see B2B or B2C or government to government, business to business, different types of model we have. Technologies needs for start a e-commerce store. First, we require the domain name, and we need the registration of domain. Then we require with a secure SSL certificate, need web hosting, e-commerce platform, internet merchant account, IMA, and we require the PSP and have to use the social media. This is the this is the technology for use a e-commerce store. And the hardware, software, network, and database component and IT architecture of a business to business online provider here different ways. So this is, if we see this logical thing here, if we start from number one, first one, quick source user require for quite a publication via internet, number one. Number two, web server. And it goes, if you see the number three here, within the web server, here different types of server we know. Web server from Windows, advanced server, internet information server, and database servers also here. So SQL server and database server update, and then a storage area of database. Then it goes for four, transaction and user activity logged for billing and marketing purpose. Then it's go for this one is here, back office application server, and also go for five, application server notify supplier for new requirement via email. And then from that store is go also data updated within the server. Then web server send confirmation of the browser, and this way. So this is the this is one of the B2B online auction provider issue. And e-commerce, that means electronic commerce, is the buying and selling of goods and service, or transferring a fund or data over the electronic network. Primarily the internet. This business transaction occur either as business to business, business to customer, or customer to customer. E-commerce model. So there are different types of model. We know here a model can be broadly categorized into the different categories we have, but basically business to business, B2B, and business to consumer, B2C, and consumer to consumer, C2C. These three model are basic model, and there are a lot of model. If you see here, business to government, B2G, or business to administration, B2A, or government to government, G2G, public public to public, this government to government, public to public, P2P. Different types of model we have, but fundamental model is B2B, B2C, C2C. So here, B2B, business to business, here examples are Oracle, Alibaba, etc. And business to consumer, Intel, Dell, etc., Amazon. And consumer to consumer, this e-commerce, we can say Ole, eBay, etc. So a typical e-commerce business model, please see next one.
Business architects need. Businesses want to become more digital. This means let's automate processes, but do so carefully, thinking through what makes sense instead of simply automating useless stuff. In this context, business has to consider what competitors are doing, how customer needs are changing, how technology is changing, etc. Today, we have reams of documents on these findings, but most are not put to good use. They're simply produced and archived. So the first skill you need is to be able to understand what's going on by consuming lots of information from multiple sources. Once you consume all this information, you don't want to create yet another report that consolidates all these findings. That'll just add to the mess. On the other hand, if you can create a simple way to frame all that, then you have something. Let's say it's a one-page simple visual. As you think about and create that one-page visual, if you can add information about the company strategy into it, then you can tell if the work is aligned with the strategy. The second skill you need is to be able to frame all that information into a single visual. Now that you have extracted the essence of all that information, you have to do something with it. You have to tell different stories to influence different stakeholders to take action. For example, if you see that the company strategy says one thing, but most of the project funding is supporting something else, Then you have to bring attention to it. The visual you created will be the basis of such stories. The third skill you need is to influence people through compelling stories. So essentially, you need skills to understand, frame, and influence. These skills will not be automated by artificial intelligence systems anytime soon, which means that you will be adding value by doing something that machines are not good at. Thanks for watching.
Do you know that e-commerce retail revenues are expected to reach up to $6.54 trillion, marking a huge leap by the end of the year 2022? Well, with this statistic, we can certainly state that the future of e-commerce is thriving as ever. So, have you thought about your business strategies for 2021 yet? No? Worry not. We have figured it out for you. Let me tell you some of the new e-commerce trends that are rising and which can definitely help you fill in your e-commerce bucket list for 2021. Technologies like PWA will continue to evolve as future e-commerce trends and maintain their place in the list of top e-commerce trends as well. The next one is voice commerce that will be leading the e-commerce trends in 2021 undoubtedly. Business-based social media marketing will be one of the amongst top trends of 2021 as well. Facial recognition, AI, and information advancements will also play a crucial role in the future of e-commerce. And the last, but definitely not the least, is automation technology, which will probably become standard reality in 2021. Well, our e-commerce trends bucket list does not just end here. We have got more in the parcel. So, to know what's in there, check out our blog link in the description below or get in touch with us for more information.
Okay. So if you see the business to consumer,
Strategist. In this lesson, we're going to cover a business-to-consumer or B2C business model is one in which a company sells a service or product directly to a consumer. Familiar examples include Amazon, Walmart, and other companies where individual consumers are the end users of a product or service. B2C is the alternative of business-to-business model, or B2B, in which a company sells their products first to another business, which then will sell the product to another business or a customer with a markup. There are 5 distinct models that B2C companies use to move their products in a digital space. Direct sellers. Direct sellers are one of the most common, selling a product directly to consumers. This includes small online businesses as well as large retailers like Microsoft and Apple that sell exclusively in-house products. Online intermediaries don't own the products that are sold on their site, but they put sellers directly in contact with the buyers and usually profit by taking a cut of the transaction. eBay and Etsy are examples of online intermediaries. Advertising-based B2C involves a company purchasing advertising space on a platform that receives large volumes of traffic, like YouTube or Reddit. Targeted advertising uses criteria such as internet searches, content viewed, and demographic to strategically place advertisements in front of a promising customer. Community-based B2C takes advantage of online, like-minded communities occurring on media platforms and beyond. Since many of these communities form around a shared interest or a physical location, companies can identify promising leads more easily. Fee-based B2C models require payment to access a company's content. Subscription services like Netflix, Hulu, and Lynda are prime examples of this model. B2C as a business model typically involves a higher volume of clients but a proportionally lower revenue. B2B businesses deal with a smaller number of clients that make larger transactions. By selling directly to customers, manufacturers are able to avoid price markups on their products, especially in the digital realm. Some companies are also able to deliver products or services upon customer request, which dramatically reduces overhead. Websites can reach a significantly larger customer base than stores can, which is crucial for a B2C business model to succeed. The lack of physical storefronts also negates the risk and cost of property, keeping a company's assets more liquid and greatly increasing the ease with which the company changes and expands.
For more information, visit www.financestrategist.com.
www. So here we have seen a few videos. We have watched a few videos. So here a typical e-commerce business model is doing this way. So there are 5 steps. Step 1, marketing and research, then information exchange, order placement and delivery, payment and delivery, and customer service. So here is the typical e-commerce, and if we see the business to consumer, what we just was the video. So business to consumer e-commerce, in the form of e-commerce, business must develop attractive electronic marketplace to sell product and service to the customer. So here, if you see the picture here, from customer is go store, that means here the number 2, online stores, 3 product or and offers, then 4 payment, and then go for expendition, and then the delivery. So here the many companies offer e-commerce website that provide virtual storefront and multimedia catalog and interact order processing service, electronic payment, etc. So B2C marketplace is growing like a wildfire, but it still remain in the tips of the iceberg when companies will online commerce. So business to consumer, this model is here. Business to consumer model here, consumer retail website, online selling, online catalog, e-tailer, etc. is the basic component of this model. And business to consumer model get an opportunity to browse, select, customize, buy product. And এটা মানে হচ্ছে যে বিজনেস থেকে বিজনেস টু কনজিউমার কাছে যাচ্ছে তার প্রোডাক্টটা। So benefit of B2C model and convenient of online buying, customization of product, online customer service, online delivery and payment, etc. Types of B2C model, there are different types: e-retail or e-tailing, bricks and clean retail. Bricks and clean retail যে আমরা যে ক্লিক করি, যে মাউসে ক্লিক করার মতো এটা অ্যাড আসবে, এটা ক্লিক করলে আপনার ওখানে ওর জায়গায় নিয়ে যাবে। Virtual malls, etc. The model suitable for goods that can be transformed into digital format. For example, book, music, etc. যেমন আমরা বই পাচ্ছি, আমরা ডিজিটালি পিডিএফ ফরম্যাটে বুক পাচ্ছি, যে বইটা হয়তো কিনে নিতে হচ্ছে, বাইরের বই আমরা হয়তো সফট কপি পাচ্ছি ইত্যাদি। And experience the education program, tutorial, training, games, etc. Physical product, consumer, and a product that have a standard specific universally, etc. So another one, consumer to consumer e-commerce. Here, if you see the picture, here through the internet, here consumer, she's another consumer, but here this consumer is act as a seller and here approaches as a buyer. So from consumer to consumer, one make as in seller, another one is buyer. So here, if you see from the customer, from the seller side, host the product with the portal. Then if we go for the another consumer, she access the product information from the portal through the internet and then place an order to that consumer, and that consumer also, they buy the product on behalf of the buyer. So this way, this model is working in the number of 5, the sales product to the buyer. So the huge success of online at that type of product, this goes consumer to consumer, eBay, consumer, etc. is doing business in this way. This participation of that means if you see electronic personal advertising, so here is the very website required for this purpose, and consumer to consumer e-commerce model here require the website and classified aid, negotiation between the user, commission from user per company policy, etc., product delivery, payment model, etc. So here they are interconnecting with the through the internet. And business to business e-commerce. So one business to, for example, one supplier, another buyer. So here supplier is a businessman and buyer also a business. So business to business, B2B. So this category of e-commerce involve both e-business marketplace and direct market link between business. That means commerce between business that is conducted electronically or in collaboration among business community over the internet. And this model, e-procurement, e-HRM, customer relationship management, etc., it involves used electronic medium of supply of inventory, channel management, disbursement management, and delivery and payment management, etc. There are three types of B2B e-commerce here: supplier oriented or supplier, and another one buyer oriented, and number three intermediate oriented. The three types of business to business e-commerce is here. Consumer we have seen, but let's wait. Internet.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Sandhu from Business Management and Research Channel. In this video lecture, you will learn consumer to consumer business model. Consumer to consumer C2C is a business model that allows customers to purchase and sell directly to one another. How does it work? Consumer to consumer is a business model in which third-party companies facilitate transactions between private consumers for goods or services without involving a business on either end of the transaction. The majority of consumer to consumer transactions are now carried out through online businesses. C2C transactions used to take place mostly in places like newspaper classified ads, live auctions, and garage sales before the internet. Now, C2C model platforms. There are four types. Many e-commerce platforms exist to assist individual buyers in finding desired items while also providing sellers with a built-in audience of potential customers. Most C2C platforms collect their cost by charging sellers a small listing fee or a small commission on the final sale. C2C platforms include, for example, number one, auction platforms. If you want to sell something, you can put it up for sale on an online auction site for a certain price. Multiple buyers can then bid on the item until there is a winner. Bidding could make the price go up more than if the seller set a price for the item. Bidders could get a good deal finally. Number two, platforms that allow people to trade goods. Here are a lot of websites that connect buyers and sellers who want to trade physical goods like used furniture or artwork and many other items. These platforms can be found on a website or you can find an application. You can even search by location. So you can do the transaction in person. Number three, exchange platforms that allow people to buy and sell services. It's possible to buy and sell services online on C2C sites. For example, you can rent someone else's home for a few days, or you can hire a trainer for your dog, or you can design your website with the help of an expert. Number four, payment platforms. It's possible to sell goods and services on C2C online payment platforms. These platforms also help people pay for C2C sales on other platforms. These platforms may make money by charging users a small fee when they want to move their money into their own bank accounts. Thank you very much. Get connected.
থাকবো connected তোমার সাথে. So here B2B e-commerce, this one.
If you're looking at selling to other businesses or running a password-protected storefront that only approved customers have access to, Nexternal's business-to-business features have you covered. Included with the Nexternal e-commerce system is a business-to-business login panel that has been customized to match the look and feel of your existing website. Upon login, the customer will see categories, products, and pricing structures that are specific to their customer type. There are also several business-to-business conveniences, such as giving the shopper the ability to ship several items to multiple locations, as well as providing an account page that gives business customers the ability to review past orders, track packages, or even quickly place a reorder. Payment methods can also be customized for business customers, as you may want to alter the types of payments accepted for your various customer types. Some business customers may be required to pay using a credit card, while others may have special payment terms. All of the business-to-business features will be controlled through Nexternal's powerful order management system. The order management system will allow you to set up unlimited customer types such as wholesale that can be assigned to groups of your business customers. Once you've created the customer types and assigned your customers to a particular group, you can easily set visibility rules and site tendencies specific to each type you've created. Categories, products, and even coupons can all have visibility and usability rules enforced. Additionally, pricing structures and discount levels can all be determined by which type of customer has logged into the storefront. Nexternal will also provide CRM functionality, which allows you to easily add information to each business account. This includes additional addresses and payment methods, company notes, phone and email interactions, or even setting a follow-up date should you need to contact the customer in the future. Nexternal is packed with pre-developed integrations such as Salesforce, QuickBooks, and ShipCompliant. However, our XML tools will give you the ability to integrate with almost any third-party application you're using. Whether you need to automatically transmit order data from Nexternal to your warehouse management system, or you need to pass customer information to your proprietary customer relations management tool, an XML integrator can use our XML tools to query the data from Nexternal and pass to your required application. Nexternal's business-to-business storefront will present your business customers with the personalized shopping experience and streamlined order process that they expect. Combine this with the powerful tools provided by the Nexternal order management system, and you're sure to make the business-to-business storefront a success.
So business-to-business e-commerce we have watched here. So there are three types of business-to-business e-commerce, and essential e-commerce processor here. So the essential e-commerce process required for the successful operation and management of the e-commerce activities. So there are 9 key components. So it is the one of the objective, 9 key components of an e-commerce process architecture. There are 9 key components. That is the foundation of the e-commerce initiatives of many companies today. So what is the 9 items here? Look here. So if we go for serially, here access control and security, profiling and personalization, search management, content management, catalog management, payment system, workflow management, event notification, and collaboration and training, etc. So this 9 item is here. As you look here, this, if you see the box, access control or flow chart of this one, access control and security here, access control, authentication, security management, and work activities is here. Then profiling and personalization here, and then search management, and then content management, catalog management, payment system, and workflow management, event management, and collaboration. It's a 9 components of e-commerce process architecture. Each and every component, how they work, access control and security. So this is the access control and security item. E-commerce process must establish multiple trust and secure access between the parties in an e-commerce transaction by authentication users, authorize access, and enforcing security features. So if we see here, look here, for example, CCTV, door access, fingerprint, fingering, web-based, and time attendance, etc. All are the access control and security activities. And profiling and personalization, once you have gained access of an e-commerce site, portfolio, that means profiling process can occur. So the profiling and personalization. So here, profiling gathers data on your and your website behavior and choice, user registration, cookies, files, and user feedback. And profiling is used for personalization, one-to-one marketing, authentic identity, customer relationship management, marketing placement, website management, etc. for the activities of profiling and personalization. And if you see number 3, search management. So this is the search management. Efficient and effective search process provide a top e-commerce website capability that helps customer find a specific product or service they want to evaluate or buy. So how they choose best product or service. So this is the search management, how manage the search item. And then content and catalog management. So content management software helps e-commerce companies development, generate, deliver, update, and achieve text data and multimedia information and e-commerce website. So content management software helps video generate, delivery, update, etc. And catalog management software helps generate and manage the catalog content. And catalog and content management software works with the profiling tools with the personalization content and a product configuration and mass customization. So e-commerce content frequently tracks for the multimedia catalog and product information. As such, generating the managing catalog content is a major subset of content management. So content and catalog management software work with that. And workflow management. Many of the business process in a commerce application can be managed and partially automated with the help of workflow management software. So here is the question, automated, partially automated with the workflow management software. And so this is the the role of the catalog content management and workflow management is describing here. If we see from 1 to 7, here 1, browse a supplier, find product, order item, confirm order if available, then a transmit order, process order, and then order completion after fulfilling the shipping, accounting on receiving the amount or payment, etc., messaging through that. And event notification process play an important role in e-commerce system. Customer, supplier, employees, and other stakeholder must be notified in all event or that might affect their status of transactions. So event notification software is one of the remaining item, and event notification software works with the workflow management software. So here the event notification server is used, and any event that notify to the specific categories of people. Collaboration and trading. So collaboration arrangements the trading service need by the customer, supplier, and other stakeholder. So this one, and now electronic payment process. Nowadays, all maximum payment are through the electronically. Payment from the product or service purchase in an obviously the vital set of process in e-commerce transactions. Payment process, however, are not simple because of the nearly anonymous electronic nature transaction taking. So e-commerce payment process is doing this way. How do electronic website work and how the payment makes? Web payment process is here. If we see the payment process, let's watch a video. So do we watch it? So is the difference e-commerce, how automated e-commerce, this one we will see. The e-commerce automation.
How to automate your e-commerce business process. Running an e-commerce business can seem like endless tasks. Customer service, answering emails and phone calls from customers, social media management, email campaigns, store management, running sales for you, data entry, bookkeeping, cold calling, and many more. These can quickly begin eating into your free time, leaving you with less time to handle the important stuff. You cannot work on all the tasks yourself. Admit it, no entrepreneur is a Superman. Having an extra hand on projects is essential to your business growth. Businesses that are successful and growing sometimes have the need to hire additional staff. But hiring additional help adds overhead and cuts into your business profits. If you want to grow your e-commerce business, you need to focus on automating as many daily administrative tasks as possible by hiring a virtual assistant. By having a virtual assistant, you can save expenses for office space, in-house employee costs, maintenance costs, and additional taxes. Moreover, you don't need to purchase office equipment like computers and telephones. How much does a virtual assistant cost? If you're a delegate and willing to look internationally, it is possible to get a virtual assistant for as low as $2.99 to $20 per hour. Hire a virtual assistant today. Boost your productivity, increase your profits. No hidden fees, no contracts. Pay only for the hours, no membership fees. Cancel anytime. 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, we'll refund your unused hours. Effective and efficient virtual assistants for entrepreneurs, professionals, small business owners, and startups. Hire virtual assistants in India at $2.99 per hour. Save your time. Delegate your work. Focus on high-priority tasks. Contact now. autoyourtask.com.
So how electronic payment works, we will watch this video now. And this one, then we'll go for, okay, bye-bye.
Around the world, billions of consumers choose to use electronic payments to make purchases when shopping in stores, online, and over mobile devices. VisaNet, the digital network behind Visa, joins billions of consumers, tens of millions of merchant locations, and nearly 15,000 financial institutions worldwide. In this video, we are going to take a look behind the scenes of an electronic payments network to see how transactions are processed, explore how all of the different parties involved are connected, and review the various steps required for any electronic payment to occur. Let's start out by taking a look at the cast of players involved in every transaction. Consumers are issued debit or credit cards, which allow them to access their money or credit lines at numerous ATMs and make purchases at millions of merchant acceptance locations around the globe. The consumer's bank that issued the cards is known as the issuer. The issuer will authorize the transaction and guarantee payment on behalf of the consumer. Merchants who choose to participate in the payments network can take advantage of the large consumer base, along with the fast, safe, and secure transactions provided by the network. The merchant's bank is also known as the acquirer. The acquirer provides access to the network for the merchant by authorizing their transactions and ensuring that the merchant receives payment quickly and securely. And there is the network, or VisaNet, that connects all of the parties involved in order to make electronic payments possible. Every electronic payments transaction can be divided into 3 steps: authorization, clearing, and settlement. Let's see what happens during a typical transaction at a local grocery store. Authorization, the first step in the process, begins at checkout, when the consumer swipes, taps, or inserts a card into the store's point-of-sale terminal. Once the card is read by the point-of-sale device, a digital message containing the details of the transaction along with the consumer's account information is sent from the merchant to the acquirer. The acquirer will format the details of the transaction and then send the message to VisaNet. When VisaNet receives the message, it will run the message through a series of risk and fraud prevention tools to ensure that the transaction is valid and secure. The request is then routed to the issuer. When the message is received, the issuer will check the balance on the consumer's account to see if sufficient funds are available to cover the total amount of the transaction. If there is enough money in the account, the issuer will place a hold on these funds and then send the message back to VisaNet. VisaNet will route the approval message to the acquirer. The acquirer receives the details of the transaction and then sends the issuer's approval to the merchant. The merchant can now let the consumer leave with the groceries because the issuer has approved the request and guarantees payment to the merchant for the value of the goods sold. This entire authorization process usually happens in just a matter of seconds. As far as the consumer and merchant are concerned, the transaction is now complete. The consumer has the groceries, and the merchant knows that the acquirer will pay them within the terms of their agreement. But this is just the first step of the transaction process. The next step is called clearing. After the transaction is complete, the acquirer formats the data and transmits the final transaction and cardholder details to VisaNet. VisaNet then sorts all transactions worldwide and transmits a consolidated batch file to each issuer that is participating in the network. Upon receipt of the batch file, the issuer removes the authorization hold from the consumer's account and debits the final transaction amount from their account balance. Once the clearing of the transactions has commenced, the final step of the payment process takes place. This step is known as settlement. During the settlement process, VisaNet consolidates every electronic payment transaction worldwide and sends consolidated net settlement statements to the participating issuers and acquirers. Funds are then transferred between each institution with account activity to settle all transactions that have occurred within a specific processing day. At this point, the process is complete. Payments have become faster and more secure than ever, providing a foundation for innovation, enabling exciting new ways to pay and be paid. From e-commerce to mobile, person to person, and beyond, electronic payments networks are helping to pave the way to the future.
So we watch how electronic payment works. Also, web payment process is mentioning here. Here, an example of the secure electronic payment system, while many payment alternations. So here, customer, merchant, and they request to the client server and go for the payment server. and also request for the merchant web server. And here verification, authentication, everything is happening within a few seconds. And from the storage side, here card verification, bank account verification, online buying, e-billing, electronic, everything is happening within few seconds. So then our that means execution goes on. So credit card transaction also is doing this way. Here is the picture. So if we see from number 1 to 11, everything is happening here. Your customer number 1, your website verification, that means here your payment gateway, then also internet merchant account, credit card interchange, and issued credit card. If you see it this way, so it's also total transaction happening through the credit card. So electronic fund transfer is very much popular at this moment in our country, Bangladesh. We have the BFTN, Bangladesh Electronic Fund Transfer. So same way, the system are measured from the electronic payment system in banking and retail industry. EFT system use a variety of information technologies to capture and process money and credit transaction. So here supporting the network or ATM, that means automated teller machine. An electronic fund transfer option here is automated teller machine, pay by phone system, direct deposit or withdrawal system, point to sell transaction, automatic deposit and payment, etc., and secure electronic payment. To the declam, this one, yeah. Online payment understanding, and then we'll see another one.
You're looking to offer your customers a safe and easy way to pay online. Since all payment processors aren't created equal, it's a really good idea to know the ins and outs of how an online payment functions from start to finish, so you can avoid pitfalls and make the most effective choice to protect and grow your business. The main players in an online payment are you and your customer. To accept credit cards from customers, you'll need a couple of things: an internet merchant account and a payment gateway. On top of that, you can also choose to include an alternative payment method, like PayPal, to service those customers who shy away from using credit cards. Once those pieces are in place, here's what happens next. A customer makes a purchase from your checkout page by submitting their payment information. That information is then sent to the payment gateway. The gateway then encrypts the payment information and shuttles it to a series of approved payment processors and networks for authorization, where the payment is either accepted or declined. That decision then shoots back to your customer, and all that flurry of activity takes place in about 2 seconds. The final step happens after the gateway sends the transaction to the payment processors, and the money is transferred from the customer's bank into your account. So as you've seen, a payment moves through several parties, often with varying providers for each transaction. Since things can get really complex really fast, some payment solutions make things easier to manage by offering everything you need bundled together into an all-in-one solution. If you already have an internet merchant account, some solutions allow you to use a gateway to accept credit cards and offer the option to add alternative payment methods. There are, in fact, all kinds of different solutions out there. Before you decide on the best online payment system for your business, make sure the solution you choose provides solid answers to the following questions. First, is it secure? Search for a payment solution that's PCI compliant, has a trusted name, and make sure it's safe with systems that have never been breached. Second, is it reliable? Look for a solution that's always available with backup systems in place. And finally, is it easy to use? You'll want to get up and running quickly, so your solution should be easy to integrate and flexible, with accessible technical support and resources so that it can meet your needs as your business grows. And to keep things easy for your customers, make sure you can accept an order on your website, in online marketplaces, over the phone, and even in person. When making this important decision, it's worth taking the time to find a payment solution that provides the security, reliability, and ease of use needed to continue earning high marks from your customers as your business enters the world of online payments.
কোরবানির ত্যাগের পবিত্রতা রক্ষা হোক সুষ্ঠু বণ্টনে, তাই নির্ভুল ওজন পেতে ব্যবহার করুন RFL ডিজিটাল উইং স্কেল।
The payment processing industry looks pretty simple on the surface. However, there are many parties involved in this seemingly basic process. Let's start with the participants involved. The cardholder is the person who owns the credit card used to make a purchase. The merchant is business that sells the products or services to the cardholder. The acquirer is the merchant bank that processes credit card transactions on behalf of the merchant. Then there's the credit card brand or network. Visa and MasterCard are examples of networks used to process a credit card transaction. Finally, the issuing bank is the financial institution that issued the credit card. Now, let's see how these participants make a credit card transaction using this example. Bob, a brick-and-mortar merchant, sells an apple to a cardholder, Clara, for $1. Clara inserts her card into a chip reader, and the point-of-sale terminal dials out to obtain an authorization code. Here's what happens next. First, the POS terminal sends the information to the acquirer. The acquirer sends the details to the issuing bank via credit card network, let's say Visa, and requests a payment authorization for a $1 transaction from the issuing bank. The issuing bank checks if Clara has enough money, checks if the expiry date is valid, and verifies many other things, including matching Bob's business address and cardholder's billing address. That's why you always need to call your bank if you travel abroad and would like to use your credit card in a different country. Once the issuing bank confirms that everything is correct, it issues an approved authorization code and sends it back the same way it received an authorization request, through Visa and the acquirer. Bob sees the approved message on his POS terminal. The issuing bank places a hold for $1 on Clara's credit card account. For Bob to receive the money for the sale, he first needs to close the batch. As cardholders come in and buy apples, all authorizations are stored in the POS terminal in a batch. And to become a deposit in Bob's account, he needs to settle the batch. When Bob settles the batch, each authorization travels back to the respective issuing bank for a final clearing. The authorizations travel via the same channels as before. First, they go to the acquirer, and then via credit card networks to the issuers. Each issuing bank removes the hold and withdraws actual funds from the cardholder's account instead. Next, the acquirer funds the merchant's bank account. Now, what about the processing fees? The credit card networks bill the acquirer interchange fees for all of Bob's sales once the batch is settled. The acquirer then bills Bob either on the same day, sales minus fees, if Bob is on daily billing, or the acquirer bills Bob at the end of the month for all the sales processes in that month. The cardholder gets billed by its issuing bank, and that's how credit card transactions work.
Okay.
Here, at Transnational Payments, we get that credit.
So we have seen different gateway and secured electronic payment. So when make online purchase of internet, শাইন ভাই আমি একটা ক্লাস আছে, আমি আবার ব্যাক করবো আপনার যে
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে।
So when we make an online purchase or payment through internet, our credit card information is vulnerable to that means what we have seen just a few video. So encryption, description, etc. So many company use the SSL. So what is SSL? SSL means secured socket layer, security method developed by the NESCAP. So here is the that was identity that use this one. So this is the gateway. So sensitive information is still vulnerable to measure the encrypted item. So security software add a module to your web browser, to our web browser. So this is the SSL protocol. So here is the SSL, that means if you see here the IP, that means internet layer, network layer, TCP layer, transport layer, and within the application layer, SSL use secured socket layer. All the merchant bank here, the SSL secured socket layer is wider developed security protocol. Is the originally designated by the NESCAP in 1993. Number of variation here is the provide the confidentiality, integrity, authentication. So the secure electronic transaction stand for the electronic payment security. So here, this one is we have another video regarding this one. So it will be easier if we see, if you watch this one. This one, secured layer, socket layer.
What is a payment gateway and how?
So you're a programmer, you're coding along, and you run into a problem. You do a Google search and start scouring forums. You're sifting through weird or kind of
API to correction. ETF security. This one, okay.
The topic of having an SSL on your website is often raised on business forums and webmaster blogs. Often the subject of much confusion, SSLs are actually quite simple, but yet do have huge potential, good and bad. So what is an SSL and what exactly does it do? Let's first look at what an SSL does. In simple terms, once installed, an SSL encrypts or scrambles information sent to and from your website. The obvious question is, why would you want to do this? The reason, quite simply, is security. Imagine you have a form on your website. The form may ask personal questions, or it might even take credit or debit card details. If someone, for example a customer, completes this form, the data is sent from the user's computer to your website. The data is sent pretty much as is. However, if someone, a hacker for example, wished to intercept this data, they potentially could. In fact, this would be as easy as being within range of the user's Wi-Fi router with some free software installed on their laptop. Once they run the software and intercept the data, they would very easily be able to read it. Obviously, if this data includes credit or debit card details or passwords, this is a major security concern. However, with an SSL, things are a little different. A hacker could still intercept the data, but it would be completely unreadable to them. Because of the encryption applied by the SSL, the data is converted into complex code at the user's end and decoded back at the website server's end. At the point the hacker could intercept over Wi-Fi, the data would be unreadable. So how do you know if a site has an SSL? There are a couple of ways you will know this. Most web browsers will display a small lock or padlock icon if you're viewing a secure site. This is your web browser's way of letting you know you're viewing a secure site. The address of a secure website will start with HTTPS rather than HTTP. Do users care? Overwhelming evidence suggests that they do care. The confidence of knowing a website is protected by an SSL allows users to enter personal information without the worry of that data being insecure. Showing your customers that you have taken the effort and cost to install an SSL shows them that you are conscious of security and that you're concerned about protecting their privacy. Is an SSL required? It very much depends on your website. If you're taking credit or debit card details directly on your site, you may be subject to terms and conditions of privacy and PCI regulations, which require you to transmit data securely. If you're planning to sell via your website on Google Shopping, you'll need to have an SSL. It's also important to note that Google's official webmaster guidelines do clarify that having an SSL is a ranking factor, and as such your website will perform better on Google search if it has an SSL installed. What are the dangers? Whilst having an SSL is almost a no-brainer, it's very important to have your SSL installed properly. All pages of your website should perform a 301 redirect to the new HTTPS address, and you should also take actions with your Search Console and Analytics accounts to account for the changes of the address. Remember, changing your website address to HTTPS is effectively as dangerous as moving your website to a totally new address and should be handled with extreme care. Hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to visit us at www.makeusvisible.
Okay, so we have seen. So this is the SSL, secured socket layer. Right. So in this method, just to watch the video, in this method, software encrypts a digital envelope to digital certificate, specifying the payment details to each transaction, Visa or MasterCard. দেখো কেমন লাগছে। So the chapter we include the videos here, a lot of videos here, the address is here. বুঝতে পারছি না, এটা হ্যাং হচ্ছে বেশি। সেখানে আমরা এখানে কতগুলো ভিডিও ইনক্লুড করা হয়েছে, যে এই ভিডিওগুলো কিন্তু আমার এই চ্যাপ্টারের সাথে সম্পর্কিত। এখানে লট অফ ভিডিওস হিয়ার, অনেকগুলি আছে। এগুলি যদি কখনো সুযোগ পান একটু ভাগে ভাগে একটু দেখে নিন। সো এই চ্যাপ্টারের সাথে এই টপিকসটার সাথে আমাদের সম্পর্কিত যে জিনিসগুলি ছিল সেই জিনিসগুলি হচ্ছে এরকম। So we have discussed the electronic commerce fundamental. So within electronic commerce fundamental, we have seen তো মহা মুশকিলে তো হ্যাং হইলে কেমন আসলে। So we have seen a lot of things here, the scope of e-commerce and what is e-commerce, you know, and the component of e-commerce, which software required for the e-commerce, which hardware required for the e-commerce, and the খুব ইয়ে করতেছে, ডিস্টার্ব করতেছে আমার, হয়তো ল্যাপটপের জায়গা নাই, অনেক আইটেম ভরে গেছে। সো আমরা নেক্সট ইয়েতে আমরা পরের ইয়েটা পড়বো, পরের টপিকসটা যদি সামনে সুযোগ থাকে। আর ভিতরে আপনাদের বোধহয় আরেকজন স্যার পড়াচ্ছে তো নাকি স্যারেরা?
জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, তো ওই স্যার শুরু করছে কোন জায়গা থেকে, শুরু থেকে নাকি শেষ থেকে?
না স্যার, উনি
শেষ থেকে নাকি? ওকে, তো ভালো হয়েছে তাহলে। এক জায়গায় এসে আমরা মানে মিলে যাব আর কি। তো আমরা এটা হলে আমাদের কিন্তু এখানে চ্যাপ্টারটা টোটাল তো আপনার 5টা চ্যাপ্টার, 5টা চ্যাপ্টারের আমরা 3টা আলোচনা হয়ে গেছে, চতুর্থটা চলছে, চতুর্থের ভিতরে 2টা টপিকস আছে, একটা টপিকস আমরা আজকে আলোচনা করলাম আর একটা টপিকস হলে কিন্তু 4th চ্যাপ্টারটা শেষ হয়ে যাবে। আর 5th চ্যাপ্টারে বোধ 3টা টপিকস আছে। তো আমরা
কিছুটা ই কমার্স টাচ করেছে, উনি এখন ওই যে ক্রিপ্টোকারেন্সি বিটকয়েনস ওগুলো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, আমরা এইভাবে আস্তে আস্তে শেখা হয়ে যাবে, সমস্যা নেই। আর এগুলো এই পেপারটা আসলে খুবই ইজি, বুঝছেন, এটা নিয়ে ডরের কিছু নেই, পরীক্ষা দিলেই পাস আর কি। আর এগুলো সব আইডিয়া সবগুলো কমন জিনিস, তো আমরা রেগুলার যেগুলি ব্যবহার করি জানা জিনিসগুলি। তো এই চ্যাপ্টারে আমাদের আরেকটা রয়ে গেছে ই কমার্স অ্যাপ্লিকেশন এন্ড ইস্যু, আমরা হয়তো এটা নেক্সট ক্লাসে এটারে শেষ করব। আর আজকে আমরা যে জিনিসগুলি দেখলাম, এখন এর সাথে আরো কিছু আমার ছিল যেগুলো যদি, তো আমরা এইটা আজকে আর এটা নিয়ে আলোচনা করি না। আপনারা তো সারাদিন লেখাপড়া করতেছেন, বিরক্ত হয়ে আছেন, তাই না? তো আমরা এটা আবার নেক্সট ক্লাস আলাপ করবো আর কি। তো এর ভিতরে আবার ওই যে কয়েকটা ভিডিও একটু করে রাখছিলাম আপনাদের দেখানোর উদ্দেশ্যে, সেটাগুলো তো আসলে শেষ হয় নাই, তো সেখানে আমরা একটু আর 5-10
Hello
মিনিট
everyone.
আমরা
In this video, we're going to talk about HTTP, secure HTTP, and SSL.
আমরা এই দুইটা একটু দেখি। আমরা ওয়েবসাইট গুলি আমরা ব্রাউজ করি, অনেক সময় দেখি এইচটিটিপি, আবার অনেকগুলোর সাথে এস আছে। এই এসটা মানে হচ্ছে এসএসএল টা এটার সাথে যুক্ত আছে, সিকিউরড। এইটা কোনটা দিয়ে কি বোঝায়, কি কাজ হয়, সেটা আমরা একটু দেখে গেছি।
Now, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now, this is probably the most widely used protocol in the world today. HTTP is the protocol that is used for viewing web pages on the internet. So when you type in a web address like google.com, you'll notice that HTTP is automatically added at the beginning of the web address. And this indicates that you are now using HTTP to retrieve this web page. Now, in standard HTTP, all the information is sent in clear text. So all the information that is exchanged between your computer and that web server, which includes any text that you type on that website, that information is transferred over the public internet. And because it's transferred in clear text, it's vulnerable to anybody who wants it, such as hackers. Now, normally this would not be a big deal if you were just browsing regular websites and no sensitive data such as passwords or credit card information are being used. But if you were to type in personal sensitive data like your name, address, phone number, passwords, or credit card information, that sensitive data goes from your computer and then it has to travel across the public internet to get to that web server. And this makes your data vulnerable because a hacker that's somewhere on the internet can listen in as that data is being transferred and steal your information. So as you can see, this hacker is stealing personal information as it's traveling over the internet. So he has a name, phone number, address, credit card numbers, and so on. So this is a problem as far as security. And this is why HTTPS was developed. HTTPS stands for Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And this is HTTP with a security feature. Secure HTTP encrypts the data that is being retrieved by HTTP. It ensures that all the data that's being transferred over the internet between computers and servers is secure by making the data impossible to read. And it does this by using encryption algorithms to scramble the data that's being transferred. So for example, if you were to go to a website that requires you to enter personal information such as passwords or credit card numbers, you will notice that an S will be added to the HTTP in the web address. And this S indicates that you are now using secure HTTP and have entered a secure website where sensitive data is going to be passed and that data is going to be protected. And in addition to the S being added, a lot of web browsers will also show a padlock symbol in the address bar to indicate that secure HTTP is being used. So by using secure HTTP, all the data, which includes anything that you type, is no longer sent in clear text. It's scrambled in an unreadable form as it travels across the internet. So if a hacker were to try and steal your information, he would get a bunch of meaningless data, because the data is encrypted and the hacker would not be able to crack the encryption to unscramble the data. Now, secure HTTP protects the data by using one of two protocols, and one of these protocols is SSL. SSL, or Secure Sockets Layer, is a protocol that's used to ensure security on the internet. It uses public key encryption to secure data. So basically, this is how SSL works. So when a computer connects to a website that's using SSL, the computer's web browser will ask the website to identify itself. Then the web server will send the computer a copy of its SSL certificate. An SSL certificate is a small digital certificate that is used to authenticate the identity of a website. Basically, it's used to let your computer know that the website you're visiting is trustworthy. So then the computer's browser will check to make sure that it trusts the certificate, and if it does, it will send a message to the web server. Then after, the web server will respond back with an acknowledgement so an SSL session can proceed. Then after all these steps are complete, encrypted data can now be exchanged between your computer and the web server. And the other protocol that secure HTTP can use is called TLS. TLS, or Transport Layer Security, is the latest industry standard cryptographic protocol. It is the successor to SSL, and it's based on the same specifications. And like SSL, it also authenticates the server, client, and encrypts the data. It's also important to point out that a lot of websites are now using secure HTTP by default on their websites, regardless if sensitive data is going to be exchanged or not. And a lot of this has to do with Google, because Google is now flagging websites as not secure if they are not protected with SSL. And if a website is not SSL protected, Google will penalize that website in their search rankings. So that's why now if you go to any major website, you'll notice that secure HTTP is being used rather than standard HTTP. And if you're interested in getting an SSL certificate,
ঠিক আছে, আমরা SSL দেখলাম। তো এরকমের আমাদের আসলে সবকিছুই কিন্তু ওয়েবে রয়েছে। আপনারা যদি সুযোগ পান এক একটা পয়েন্ট ধরে ধরে, যেমন হলো এখানে আমরা দেখতেছি একটা ব্যাংকের এনে যে ফিউচার ব্যাংকিং এর
everyday banking experience could be entirely virtual. By then, more than 2 billion people will have digital bank accounts on digital platforms. And just 20% of so-called heritage financial services firms will have survived. Some banks will be completely virtual, facilitated by open banking, fueled by data stored and shared on the cloud, and made faster and safer by blockchain technology. If you want, you'll be able to get the equivalent of a private banking service, as data aggregators cross-reference your spending habits with other parts of your online life, from your travel plans to your social media interactions, creating a unique profile for your bank to provide you with bespoke services. Look forward to an AI-powered virtual banking assistant, handling payments, investments, and instant transfers at the command of your voice. As banks begin to get more personal, so will the ways we pay. In the future, cash is no longer key. Instead, paying with your phone or wearable will be the status quo, rendering physical cards unnecessary. 60% of financial organizations are expected to make wearables a common payment method. Physical shops will still exist, but the way you pay will change, with money changing hands virtually in real time. Cryptocurrencies may rival cash, with an estimated 200 million blockchain wallet users by the end of this decade. And many currencies could digitize and even decentralize, simplifying travel and trade. But none of this will happen if security isn't every bank's #1 priority. Protection against cybercrimes and fraud will be powered by predictive analytics and artificial intelligence. Home to 350 specialists manning state-of-the-art cyber defense tech, Santander's new Global Cybersecurity Center shields customers 24/7. PINs and passwords will be a thing of the past. There'll be much tighter security thanks to instant biometric verification. Santander's rolling out biometric recognition for millions of customers, including voice recognition in Europe and Latin America and fingerprinting at ATMs in Brazil. The pace of technological advancement means making precise predictions for what we can really expect for the future of banking rather difficult. But it's certain the
So আমরা আমাদের এই আস্তে আস্তে তোমরা আমাদের মোটামুটি আমাদের এই চ্যাপ্টার 4টার একটা টপিকসটা বাকি থাকলো, সেটা আমরা আরেকদিনে আপনাদের তো পরীক্ষা দিয়ে দিচ্ছে রুটিন, তাই না? আপনারা তো এবার পরীক্ষা দিতে পারবেন না নাকি?
জি স্যার, দিতে পারবো স্যার।
জি জি জি, আপনাদের বোধহয় ফর্ম ফিল আপ তো শুরু হচ্ছে, ওদের না হয়ে গেছে? দেখলাম যে ইনভিজিলেটরদের চাচ্ছে আর কি। তো এই মাসে মানে এই জুলাইতে তো পরীক্ষা না? তো
আমাদের 25 তারিখ থেকে।
25 তারিখে, জি জি। আর এরপরে আমার ওই আরেকটা যেহেতু লাস্ট চ্যাপ্টারটা আরেকটা শুরু করছে, আমার হয়তো আরেকদিন আরেকটা যদি সুযোগ দেয় আর কি হালিম ভাই, কারণ আমার তো বোধহয় হয়ে গেছে, তাহলে ওইটা করার পর আমরা একটা মডেল কোশ্চেন একটা রেডি করে রাখবো। তো সেটা নিয়ে আমরা আলোচনা করব, আপনাদেরকে মেইল করে দিব সামনে একটা ডেমো কোশ্চেন যে নিয়ে অবজেক্টিভ কোশ্চেন গুলি নিয়ে। তো ঠিক আছে স্যারেরা, আজকে বোধহয় আমরা এখানে ক্লোজ করি। ভালো থাকবেন, আবার দেখা হবে। ঠিক আছে স্যার। আর আমাদের এই পেপারের জন্য ভয়ের কিছু নাই, এটা আসলে সিম্পল আর কি, একদম ডে টু ডে আমরা যে অ্যাক্টিভিটিস গুলি করছি আইটি সম্পর্কে, তো এগুলোর ভিতরেই সব ঘুরিয়ে পেয়ে। তো ঠিক আছে স্যার, আর কোনো কথা আছে নাকি?
স্যার এই এমসিকিউ গুলো ইজি হবে তো স্যার?
হ্যাঁ, এগুলো তো ইজি, পানির মতো ইজি, এক সমস্যা গেলে চিন্তা করে চোখ বন্ধ করে দিলে হয়ে যাবে আর কি, একটু আইডিয়া করে দিলে হয়ে যাবে। এটা সিম্পল আসলে, একদম লজিক্যাল তো খুব একটা জটিল কিছু না, যেগুলো বোঝা যাচ্ছে আর কি। তো সমস্যা নেই, ভয়ের কিছু নেই। যে তো থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, ভালো থাকবেন আপনারা সবাই, জি দেখা হবে ইনশাল্লাহ। জি
ওকে স্যার, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ভালো থাকবেন স্যার।
জি থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।